Michael and Lindy Chamberlain have waited 32 years to hear. I'm so sorry for your loss. The heartfelt condolences came from a Northern Territory coroner. She fought back tears as she ruled today that baby Azaria Chamberlain was taken and killed by a dingo near Uluru in 1981. The finding ends a decades-long legal saga and, of course, shocking personal tragedy for the Chamberlain family. Louisa Rebgetz reports.
Azaria Chamberlain died at Uluru, then known as Ayers Rock, on the 17th of August 1980. The cause of her death was as the result of being attacked and taken by a dingo.
It's an emotional end to a 30-year battle for Lindy Chamberlain Creighton and Michael Chamberlain. It's taken a murder trial, 4 coronials and a royal commission. Finally today, a Northern Territory coroner ruled a dingo was responsible for their daughter's death.
I wasn't going to cry, but I think Ayer had started me off. And obviously, we're relieved and delighted to come to the end of this saga. Well, no longer will Australia be able to say that dingoes are not dangerous and only attack if provoked.
Just hold it up, hold it over here.
Finally, more than 3 decades after Azaria Chamberlain died, her parents have a death certificate that confirms the cause of her death.
Please accept my sincere sympathy on the death of your special and loved daughter and sister, Azaria. I'm so sorry for your loss. Time does not remove the pain and sadness of the death of a child.
This battle to get to the legal truth about what caused Azaria's death has taken too long. However, I'm here to tell you that you can get justice even when you think that all is lost.
At 8 o'clock on the night of the 17th of August, 1980, a tiny baby disappeared from her parents' tent at the base of Ayers Rock.
It's a tragedy that gripped a nation. Lindy Chamberlain saw a dingo take her 9-week-old baby from the family tent.
When we saw the spots of blood in the tent, as we looked, we realised it must have been a very quick event.
I brought Azaria up here with the boys.
A year after their daughter's disappearance, Lindy and Michael Chamberlain returned to the rock and described the dingoes they'd seen in the area prior to Azaria's disappearance.
The animal seemed to fix its eye on me and the baby the whole time. It just sort of made me feel a little bit creepy.
Azaria Chamberlain's body was never found. An extensive search uncovered her clothes except for her matinee jacket. An inquest in 1981 ruled a dingo took the child.
Michael, why do you think people were so quick not to accept that a dingo in fact took the baby?
Because it's perhaps a first for Australia.
The dingo answer was so horrible that many people thought that can't have happened. That is just too terrible to conceive.
The hysteria surrounding the case built. New forensic evidence examined rip marks on the baby's clothing and claimed to have found fetal blood in the Chamberlain's car.
It was such an astonishing claim that this woman had taken the infant into the passenger seat of the car and cut its head off with a pair of nail scissors.
You've got young baby involved. You've got people that are religious. You've got one that's a pastor and a pastor's wife. So you've got a lot of ingredients that excite the imagination.
The findings of the first coronial were quashed by the Northern Territory Supreme Court. After a second inquest, Lindy Chamberlain was charged with murder and found guilty by a jury.
This would have been a good case not to have had a jury. Because it's clear from the judge's summing up to the jury that he believed there was more than a reasonable doubt, and every responsible judicial officer that's really looked at the case afresh has basically come to that same conclusion.
In 1986, Azaria's missing matinee jacket was found at the base of Uluru. The find led to a royal commission which discredited much of the scientific evidence presented at Lindy Chamberlain's trial. Her murder conviction was quashed.
We know that some of the scientific evidence was fraudulent. We know some of it was just plain mistaken. We know that there was no blood in the Chamberlain car that could be attributed to a child.
Today was the final chapter in a long battle for the Chamberlains. In the 1995 coronial, the cause of Azaria's death was left open, but now the coroner has left no room for doubt.
A dingo or dingoes entered the tent, took Azaria and carried and dragged her from the immediate area.
Given that there are still people in the community who think the Chamberlains are guilty, I think that is very important to have the final full stop put in place.
This inquest examined new evidence about the prevalence of dingo attacks across Australia, confirming the animals can kill children.
We live in a beautiful country, but it is dangerous, and we would ask all Australians to be aware of this and take appropriate precautions.
This has been a terrifying battle, but now some healing and a chance to put our daughter's spirit to rest.
Overseas now, and the fate of Australian lawyer Melinda Taylor remains